but in 7. That's your background. Great.
I'm Elaine. I'm Client Services Outreach Coordinator I'm serving with AmeriCorps, and I am also, through them, I am doing recirculating forms.
Okay.
And then I'm Dimitri. I'm with Research Farms. I am their community and volunteer outreach coordinator.
Great.
Also, Research.
Great. Okay, so you guys who are on the call, you know, you've been doing Zoom for 100 years now. Let us know if you want to talk, yada, yada, yada. And we did record the meeting. So anyway, welcome everyone. I'm super excited to have everybody here. I'm going to talk to y'all. Sorry, people on the screen. But super excited to have everybody here, especially on this, like, I mean, it's muggy, but it's a nice day. Thank you to Sprout for hosting us. They might be actually there. But thank you for hosting us in this like amazing space. So we start every meeting with FPAC updates. So some of the things that FPAC has been doing, I just alluded to this when I said that Haley and I are exhausted, but we just co-hosted or co-convened a local farm to early care and education conference. So early care and education really means like Head Starts and daycare ages 0 to 5. So we have been working for a long time on trying to get better food and better like food environment into centers. So we had center director who was like a complete rock star. Everyone is totally in love with Miss Pam.
Yes.
And we had farmers and we had people from all over the country here to both learn about what we're doing and so that we can learn what other folks are doing. And so next step on that is a procurement pilot. We're super excited to work with Sprout to hopefully start getting more local food into Head Start centers through like Harvest of the Month and stuff like that. So we'll be leaning on some of our farm aggregation partners to help us with all of that. Thank you. So anybody who's talked to me in the last like 3 months knows that like the only thing on my mind right now is the Farm Bill. So the Farm Bill, the midterms are in, I don't know, 10 minutes and a year from now is what it feels like. Like it feels like it's coming up and also like it's never going to be here. But after the midterms, we should have a draft of the Farm Bill. And we'll know whether or not we are supporting what people are putting forward, whether we're fighting against what people are putting forward. We will have some idea about the Farm Bill really soon. But either way, we're going to be doing really hard advocacy push on the Farm Bill. We did a What is the Farm Bill 101 webinar because you know, it should be called the Food and Farm Bill because it covers so much of our food system. And so it's on our YouTube channel that we will, I don't know if we'll drop it in the chat, but we will definitely, I can't get up the chat. We will definitely send it out to everyone. So that's on our YouTube channel and it's very, very like 101 Farm Bill. Once a draft comes out, we're going to do probably another one that really gets into like what's in the draft. How do we advocate that sort of thing? So be on the lookout for that and be ready because it's about to get hot and heavy. Farm Bill.
Yes.
And then does anybody have any questions? Any questions? Okay.
You can also
Okay.
reach out to Devin
yeah.
about if you have any questions regarding Farm Bill.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of organizing on all different fronts. So another policy update that I feel like at every meeting I keep saying like it's happening. So the Farm Bill covers a lot of our food system. What it doesn't cover, basically the Child Nutrition Reauthorization Act should cover. Child Nutrition Reauthorization Act should be reauthorized every 5 years, and it has not been reauthorized since 2010. Yes, so the children who were born when it was last reauthorized are like grown-ass people, pardon my language. Like they can drink alcohol now. That just, sorry. Or no, they can't. 2010, 2022. No, God, no, they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
They're in middle school. But they're in middle school. They're in middle school. Sorry. And so that we are hoping every year we say this is the year CNR passes. I've been hearing from so many people in Washington that this is the year they're hoping to get it, just to build off of the ARPA and all of the COVID related things. And really the push is going to be to have healthy free school meals for everyone and to keep in place a lot of the things that were enacted during COVID that were waivers. So non-congregate feeding, increased reimbursement rates, those sorts of things. And community eligibility, which is where your school, if you have, if they don't do universal school lunches, then easier community eligibility, which is where if 50% or more of the children are eligible for free or reduced lunch, then the whole school gets it. So those are some of the things that will be coming down for CNR, child nutrition reauthorization. So be again on the lookout for that. It's another like waiting on midterms. Hey, Megan. And I will just take this moment to say, go get vote. If you early vote, you can still do that right now, right? No, it ended.
Yesterday, right?
And yesterday, I don't know what day it is because I
Yeah,
have
move to the
conference.
back
I was
over
like,
here.
is it
Yeah.
Tuesday? But vote on the 8th. And you do you vote how you want to vote. But please do it. Because the midterms are huge this year. Hey, Megan.
How are you?
Good.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, you're fine. You're totally fine. Okay, let's see. I don't think that Devin is here quite yet to talk about a greener New Orleans. But I will talk about a greener New Orleans. So a greener New Orleans is our urban ag policy platform, and we have 4 planks. And I'm going to try to just remember them off the top of my head on the spot. One is to get agricultural water meters at urban farms. One is to have an urban ag liaison in City Hall. One is to make the way you access land through NORA, which is the New Orleans Redevelopment Authority, more equitable and transparent. We can have a whole side conversation on that. And the other one is how blight is reported. A lot of times cover cropping will be reported as blight, and that has been weaponized to take properties away from farmers, saying that it's blight when in fact it is cover cropping. So figuring out a way that we can make sure that this is all understood by the people who are going out there and doing the ticketing and all of that sort of thing. So in the last month, we've been having meetings with city council members. And so far everyone's been on board with it and said that they support it. But it's one thing to say you're on board with it, it's another thing to vote for it if it comes. So we are continuing to push city council to say that they support it. And this is an interesting campaign because it's not just like city council or whoever can pass this one thing, because it involves sewage and water board. It involves planning commission, it involves licensing, it involves so many different people that we're asking for their support and their help as we navigate all of these different systems that need to have changes within them. So we have a postcard campaign. Do you want to start with Angela?
Oh, yes.
And so before you leave, we would love for you to write a postcard to a council member. We will address it and we will send it. That just says, please support a greener New Orleans, or however you want to say it. And we're going to mail those, and we'll be having these postcards, these like mini postcard events at other events, so that they're getting things in the mail, that it's more than just like us and the farmers that we bring with us who supports this, but like the broader community supports it, because we all know, especially at this table, that agriculture is good for everyone. Yes.
Is there a timeline on this?
So we're hoping. Sorry, it's so rude, these trucks. I'm sure a train will come next. We're trying to get postcards between now and the end of the year.
Okay.
But it's kind of a rolling thing because we're not sure, what our next step is with them, is asking them to put forth a resolution that says they support this.
Okay.
And so we're thinking our timeline will probably be the beginning of the year on that. But this will continue to be important because once they say they support it formally, we still have to get it actually done. And so it's just going to be like, what the ask is may change. It may be like, dear council member, please make sure that Sewage and Water Board has an equitable way for blah, blah, blah. But for now, it's, we need this platform. We need more urban farmers. What's good for farmers is good for all of us, kind of thing. Okay. Let me see if there's any questions. Haley went to get something real quick.
Yeah, a few more things on a greener New Orleans. We will be speaking at the American Planning Association conference next Wednesday. Devin from Sprout and Terrence from Sprout, and both of them are affiliated with Ganoga as well, the Greater New Orleans Growers Alliance, and myself. We'll be there talking about the research component of the campaign, as well as how it fits into our policy and more catered, to an urban planning standpoint and crowd. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for policy to be authored, we're also going to be launching a little zine project. So we're really looking forward to have food-based essays, testimonials, photography, poetry experience that we're going to be hosting on our Greener NOLA website. So if anybody is interested or wants to do a company or organization project that they can put together, my email is at the bottom of the slide if you want to connect on that.
Thank you. We're like taking it back to early 2000s with the zine, and I'm like thrilled about it. Good. Thank you so much, Bryn. I was just about to be like, is Bryn on the call?
I know, I wanted to be like, I'm here.
Hi, welcome. Here, have a seat. Everyone. Let me find some more chairs. Okay, so that's a Greener New Orleans, where we are thrilled at where we are with it thus far. We do have yard signs somewhere. I think Haley just went to her truck to grab the yard signs. Here she comes with them. So if you would like a yard sign to put in your yard, they also have QR codes where people can go and sign the petition. If you have not yet signed the petition, if you're in person, then you can scan the QR code and sign the petition. And if you are on the computer, maybe Bryn can drop it. I don't know if Bryn is in front of a computer to drop in the chat, but we will find the petition and get it to you all. I think we're, anything else on a Greener New Orleans team? Anyone? Do we have any questions?
And the link to the petition is in the chat.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
I like trying to do so many things. Hello, how are you all?
Right. Sorry we waited you in the bus pit.
Oh, that's okay. No, it's good. At first, it was just a few of us, and then it kept growing, and so now I'm like, hello. Perfect. Oh yeah, I just added this slide. So one thing that is brand new that we're working on is what's called the Local Food Purchasing Agreement, the LFPA. And this is a large grant. It was a non-competitive grant that all states were eligible for through their Department of Ag and Forestry. And so we put in an application with our partners in what we're calling LSAC, which is Louisiana Small Scale Agriculture Coalition. And those partners are FPAC, Sprout, and it's a statewide program. So FPAC, Sprout NOLA, Acadiana Food Alliance out of Lafayette, BREDA, which is the Big River Economic Agricultural Development Alliance. I believe I got that right. And they are the farmers market operators in Baton Rouge, Shreveport Green out of Shreveport, and Louisiana Central in Alexandria and the like 13 parishes around there. So, and then our other partners are Second Harvest Food Bank and Feeding Louisiana. And this particular grant is a grant that is supposed to, it's large, it's $7 million, I think. More than half of that will be going to direct purchases from the food bank to partner farms. And we are super excited to announce that the first purchase was made, I think on Friday. Someone can feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. It was in the last week. The first large purchase was made with Mr. Lester Williams between the food bank and a local farmer for this program. The other amount of money that does not go toward that is going to help increase farmer capacity and new wholesale markets. So we wanted to make sure that we don't just have, like $7 million that goes to farmers, and then in 2 years there's, we've asked them to increase their yield and do all of these things, and then there's not a market for that afterwards. So that's where LSAC comes in, is doing really targeted technical assistance to farmers. And then FPAC's role in it is policy advocacy. There's that rude train. Because we at FPAC know that the way to make programs sustainable is to turn them into policy. I can't tell if it's coming this way. So I'm like, I gotta talk fast before the train comes. Is to, so we're hoping to make policy changes, whether that is having the state set aside some money that goes directly to local farmers through the emergency food system, or whether that is asking for the emergency food system to procure a certain amount locally that's like in contracts and things. We don't know yet what that's going to look like because we're just getting into the program. But it's just now starting. We are super excited about it. And we have a lot of partners who are part of that. So if anyone has anything to add that's either in person or on the call, please, someone else talk. Anybody got anything? Okay. Now is the time where I think I get to stop talking for a moment. Brynn, you want to take it from here?
Sure. I don't know who is over there. I don't know which chairs we have in-house in the garden. But I can go over a few of our updates, and I believe that we have our business development working group joining us. So I'm gonna push that one off to the side in case one of those chairs join us, that we can catch up on that. So for our seafood working group, we currently have like a urgent policy ask right now. We are working on a state level for some advocacy. It's not necessarily a New Orleans representative. It is Garrett Graves is joining. He sits on the National Resources Committee at the federal level, and he is joining what is going to be the Bipartisan Aquaculture Committee. So there, what we are hearing is that they, the other side, quote, is it's a proponent for fish farming. So we heard that they get a lot of folks that are really pushing fish farming, that they hear from a lot of chefs that are saying, no matter what, more fish is better. But if anybody wants to dive into the not great benefits, not benefits, whatever the opposite word of that is, for the environment, the hazards that offshore fish farming and industrialization of fishing can cause. So we're asking for local chefs and restaurant owners that use local seafood just to like provide testimonials within the next week. So if you know anybody that you're connected to that uses local seafood, we'd love to get a testimonial or get some folks in on the conversation. Because Matt Graves does want to hear from the surrounding parishes. Like I said, they're not the New Orleans representative, but they do value, both input on that. Let's see. I see that Eric just joined in. Hi, welcome, Eric. Not to put you on the spot.
Oh, I was going to see if Marianne I think she's on the call. If she has anything she wants to add about. Yeah, and speaking here.
Yeah, Marianne, you could have said that way more eloquent than me. I'm so sorry.
No, that was perfect.
I'm glad
you did. But it was exactly right, Brynn. I mean, basically, we were in a meeting with Graves staff, and they said, hey, our boss is going to be on this newly created caucus, and we're hearing a lot from people who want industrial production of aquaculture to go forward because more fish is better. It doesn't matter where it comes from. And we all went, because I'm sure, like me, many of you are, close to, have family members or friends who are independent commercial fishing folks and who have had a couple of rough years, and who are very concerned about industrial aquaculture in the Gulf. As are a lot of other people, globally, there has been some not great consequences with industrial scale aquaculture and the marine environment. And so anyway, the long and the short of it is, Graves' office told us to get some restaurateurs, chefs, fishermen, anybody who supports local seafood to write, a paragraph about why they care, or a couple of sentences about why they care, and get it into them as soon as we can. So if any of you are close to any chefs or fishing folks or restaurateurs who support local seafood, now would be the time to get some statements into us to help push it in the right direction.
We have a chef who is new to our network who came today, who is going to provide testimony. Do you want her to send that directly to you? How should we handle getting those testimonies? Does it matter?
Yeah, if you send them to me, we're gonna make a packet and hand it to Graves folks.
Great. She has your email because I forwarded it on, so should be good to connect. Perfect.
Marvelous. Thank you so much.
Of course. She was like, I'm a chef. I was like, I have something really important to talk to you about industrial fishing.
And
How are you?
I'll reach out to my colleague. as well.
Yes,
So
thank
yeah, I'll
you.
pass that along. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. If you need any language, let me know. We've given people like a boilerplate to work with, but it's great if you do it in your own words.
Okay, thank you.
And if you're interested in some of that work or some of the other things that we dive into the seafood working group are alternative oyster cultures, as well as water bottom farming, learning a lot of things where, really holding fishers as the farmers that they are. So if you're interested in joining the seafood working group, we'll be meeting next week, I believe. So yeah, you can send myself or Marianne an email if you're interested in diving into that subcommittee, that working group as well. And let's see, I saw that Eric hopped on. So Eric, do you want to provide an update on where our business development working group is?
Yeah, sure. Let me get this video on. Hi everybody. Sorry I can't be there in person, but y'all look amazing.
Thanks.
All right, the business development working group, we met 2 weeks ago now. Time flies. October 19th, I believe. And we discussed the pop-up permit update, which actually went to vote yesterday at City Council and was on the consent agenda and passed. So I think we're waiting on a timeline as far as implementation of that, but it's a I think a really great feather in our cap here at FPAC. And we're very excited that the pop-up permitting is going on. We do have some of the basic information on fees on both the vendor side and host venues. I'm hoping we put that in an infographic pretty soon so we can share that that way. But if anybody does want an update, oh, good. Yes. So we will be getting an infographic. Thumbs up, Alyssa. But if you can't wait, you can email me and I'll drop my email in the chat after the update. But yeah, that's super exciting. If you do have any questions, feel free to jump in about the pop-up permit. Also in the permitting world, one of the things kind of with discussions in the pop-up permit as well as continual pain points with the city is the occupational license that will be a requirement for the pop-up permits. But there's also lots of vendors across the city, sell at the farmers markets and other business opportunities that are getting held up because of the slow occupational license process. So we are collecting information on that as well, pain points in the occupational license process that we will be also working with City Council on looking at those. So we'll probably have a template out pretty soon on collecting those. I think we have about a dozen, maybe just under a dozen testimonials that we've currently collected. So because permitting and licensing continues to be a pressing issue with this, food businesses, we will be having a licensing subcommittee meeting. We're shooting for the second week of December. We kind of skip November. November, like the off months tend to be when we do our subcommittees. But we are hoping to have a very special guest at the subcommittee. Carolyn, I wasn't able to find her last name, but basically she is a permit expediter and she's worked with a couple vendors that Market Umbrella has been talking to, and other folks in the city. And she's very, I think she has an accounting background, but she's kind of trying to move more and more into this kind of licensing consulting space. So she's going to be presenting at the meeting. That's why it's the second week of December, because that's what fit her schedule. So as soon as we nail down that what day, or if there's a couple days, we'll send out a doodle poll. Obviously, if you can, make the time, but since we don't have a date, so I can't ask everybody to keep that second week of December clear. But hey, if you can keep the second week of December clear, look out for a permit subcommittee meeting. That will be very exciting. Let's see. We also are at the last BDWG meeting. We have 2 other documents that we're putting out right now. One, I believe we presented it maybe like last spring, but the initial funding opportunities, which is basically we're trying to centralize and streamline a spreadsheet or database where there's grant opportunities that are out there in the world, as well as different funding opportunities from small banks and loans. We really want to demystify the loan process kind of within this project, so that small businesses can start getting more comfortable with that process. So with that being said, I can drop I'll drop the current link in there. We are amending the page because as we were kind of trying to find we found different resources that kind of existed in the FPAC drive. So we are currently updating contacts and then moving them into the funding opportunities sheet that we're drafting. But this is kind of a call to action. If you do have any programs that you know about, loans, grants, anything opening up, anything that your organization sponsors, anything your organization is taking part of, or if you're a cohort and you want to be listed, you have an incubator program yourself, we ask that, I guess, send that to me, and we'll get it listed in there, but I'll share that link shortly. And then the other document that we're working on, oh yeah, one other quick note on the funding opportunities. We're looking to have a landing page on the FPAC website for that, because that information will be extremely public, and which we want it to be, because we want everybody to be able to take advantage of this. We noticed in the second sheet that we found, there's a lot of personal or direct business lines, phone numbers. So we'll probably have a second sheet that lives on the FPAC drive with the detailed information, but we'll kind of have a scrubbed version that'll be featured on the FPAC website, so that not everybody has access to phone numbers, because while we want to be as supportive as possible, we still got to do our work, and we can't have our phones ringing off the hook, or more so. Any questions on funding opportunities? I know I'm going kind of fast. Great. And the second kind of document that we're working on right now, the working title is an ally support, and basically our thinking coming off of the momentum that we've had with our work at City Council, with the pop-up permits, as well at the state level with Grow the Good and everything else, is we're starting to see that we do have a lot of contacts out there, and we want to have those in a central place, so that when a question does come up, be it around the current pop-up permitting issue, or the occupational license, or state cottage law, that we actually have a place to go, and potentially kind of a plan action of here's the question, here's kind of the purview, whose purview it falls under, and here are potential allies, be it inspectors at the city, people at Food and Drug, people at LDH. So as a, sort of an example of that is, or city council. So, instead of just having, kind of the Google search and this is your city council person, we'll have a list of, the folks on their staff, because obviously that's kind of where the what do they say? The rubber meets the road. So we want to have, a centralized place to look at these things, as well as kind of an outline of a plan, so that, instead of, while I really enjoy the, emergency, let's email as many people as we can. I think this way will save us a lot of time and a lot of effort. So we'll be, I don't think we have a draft of that just yet, but as soon as we do, we'll share that with the group so that everybody can add to that.
That's fantastic. Like, I love this. Sorry.
Yeah, I love that you love it. And yeah, so right now we don't have another meeting on the books yet, because we're waiting on the second week of December permitting subcommittee. I think that's everything.
That's a lot. You guys are working so hard in that working group. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Let's see. For food production working group, that is A Greener New Orleans, which I gave the update on A Greener New Orleans a few minutes ago, or however long ago it was. Seafood working group, Bryn gave that update, I believe. For seafood and fisheries, there's a meeting coming up. She will let us know when that is. Food access working group hasn't met in a minute, but our chair, oh shoot, is right here. Right, aren't you our new chair? Yeah, Mary Louise. As soon as I said that, I was like, oh wait, did I miss an email where she isn't anymore or something weird? And what am I missing? Who am I missing?
Food waste and recovery.
Yes, food waste and recovery, who also is in a little bit of a timeout. Well, when I say timeout as a mother, that means something completely different. But we are in the process of figuring out what next steps are for the food waste and recovery working group. So if that's something you're interested in, please email us and stay tuned. We will keep you posted on that. And then another ad hoc working group that I hadn't mentioned, but that has been sort of nebulous, is our climate change and disaster working group. So FPAC has recently been funded for 2 different disaster projects, I guess you will. One of them is to do a SWOT analysis of DSNAP throughout the state. So what's been their response with DSNAP in 3 or 4 regions in the state who have had to have disaster SNAP in the last 0 to 5 years, basically, of how long did it take? Were people able to get food? Were the waivers good? That sort of thing. Haley will be spearheading that, and we'll be starting that soon. It's going through 2023, which apparently is in 10 minutes. And so we're excited about that. And then also through another grant that was recently we got with a bunch of partners as well, FPAC will be working on a hurricane response document or plan for the food system in New Orleans. I don't know when that's starting. That's a large multi-partner grant that we're on. But those are the 2 things that FPAC has recently been funded to do work in disaster. It's been interesting to see funding finally coming down for not just emergency food immediately after, but for planning and really looking at disaster response. And so we are excited to start. Yeah. Sorry. Somebody just walked in with a box and was like, I need cooler space, because that's how this rolls. And so we're excited to get into this sort of more proactive disaster work, as opposed to just when the funding comes down, fast and furious, hot and heavy immediately after, being like, get food to people immediately. We're trying to figure out like, how can we make that part of it better, more equitable, more efficient? And then how can we also, frankly, shore up the food system so that, because right now we are operating in disaster mode all the time. Like our emergency food systems are at disaster mode all the time. And so when a disaster strikes, then it's, just kicking us down even further. We never get back up. So how can we shore up the food system so that when a disaster strikes, we're actually operating in disaster mode, not like this cumulative disaster mode? I don't know if that made sense. It was very soapboxy, but I think y'all get what I'm saying, right? Okay. Does anybody have questions about that? I was like, I believe Margie does. Yes.
Yeah, what is is there space in or has there been thought about the producer side of that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, but it's coming. Yes. So for us right now, the DSNAP is really just like, what's the response? And this is a planning grant for a campaign. It's like a campaign planning grant. So it's to see like, what do we need to work on and what do we need to, like at the end of it, we'll hopefully come up with like some recommendations for what we need to be advocating for. But right now we don't even know how broken it is to know what to advocate for, if that makes sense.
Yes, I'm gonna ask a question that may have been the thing that's kicked off this whole thing.
Okay.
And everyone will go, she was on her phone and she missed that.
That's okay.
If that's what's about to happen. So I'm
It's
just
fine. We're
naming
fine.
that
No,
might be about
name
to
it.
happen. We had talked in the past about possibly having like a disaster working group. Is that where this started?
Yes, this started with a
cool.
disaster working group because for a little while, the disaster working group, we weren't sure what the disaster working group was going to do. And so now we have these like two very specific things. And so that's where we're hoping to bring in the disaster working group that includes food access, emergency feeding, growers, that sort of thing. Yes.
Do we have a chair yet?
We had a chair, but he has recently left his organization. So no, but we can talk offline about that.
I'm coming in at the end, but RFSP has like a disaster.
That's what I was just saying. Yes, that's what.
Is that the grant you were referring
Yes,
to?
that was the grant I was
Got it.
referring to.
Okay, I was like, uh-oh.
We have two
we're
grants.
duplicating efforts.
No, no,
Never
that-
mind, we're all good.
Yeah, no. So we have one through the Center for Science and the Public Interest. That's the disaster SNAP. And then the RFSP, which is the Regional Food System Planning Grant that a bunch of other partners are on in this, but it hadn't been announced yet. So I didn't want to like name it. FPAC's role, or FPAC where it says like who does what, FPAC lead, is to come up with a hurricane preparedness plan for the food system. So those are sort of the two things. One is statewide, looking really at policy. Right. One is really looking at policy on and SNAP, and then one is looking more at like local food systems. But we're excited to be looking at both of them kind of together because they have to work in tandem. Or they should work in tandem for like really good, robust disaster relief. Okay, have I missed anything else on working groups? No, okay. So our sort of sum up what's happening in the policy world is Farm Bill and child nutrition reauthorization at a federal level. At a state level, I did want to give an opportunity for if Grow the Good, anybody in Grow the Good wanted to talk about what's happening there. I don't know if anyone from the Grow the Good team is on the call, but if, do you still need more markets to sign up or any of that sort of stuff? And so in Grow the Good, that's our one of our statewide things. We are going to begin advocating for them to fund us again, like really, really soon. Like, we had to put in the application for that to be able to happen. And we're talking with our lobbyists to begin that process because it was a one-time funding. The issue with one-time funding is once you drop off, it is very hard to get back on. So we need to keep the funding going and hopefully have it as something that they add not as a one-time line item, but as, a fund in the state. So that will be happening very soon. So we'll be coming to folks for advocacy help on why you think it's great, what the farmer's market does for you, that kind of thing. I got off track. So,
I don't know. Is Angelina there? No, I know she's.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I don't know if she was gonna say something. I don't have anything to say, but I'll make sure we add Chelsea to this meeting. I don't know if she's added to it. Who is the Grow the Good director, but I do know we do need farmers markets, so I can make sure we share information to go out with the notes.
Great. And
Yeah.
Angelina's here.
There is an interest form that's in circulation now on the website. So the interest form is really just to enable us to create a database of markets who we will later circulate an application to. We anticipate there being very broad spectrum of need, and there's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done on this, which is why like year one is kind of important, but it'll be harder to spend the direct benefit just because of all the market assistance to get to the point of being able to spend that direct benefit. So anyhow, year two is going to be super important. But yeah, if you know of other markets that might be interested or know people who might work at other markets, I just kind of like say it to whoever I'm talking to.
Right.
There is like an interest form on the Grow the Good website and they can sign up that way. And we do have like a fair showing of New Orleans markets that have applied. So I guess, I mean, that's good, but also we do really want statewide representation. So if anyone is doing statewide work and talking to people around the whole state,
Great.
tell them to sign up.
And
We'll
just
help them figure it out.
to back things up, I realized I didn't explain what Grow the Good is, but
yeah.
Grow the Good is a program that we
Cool.
got the legislature to give $891,000 that will go to farmers markets to double SNAP farmers markets so that they can do a program where they double SNAP dollars at their market. And it also will include capacity building for those markets to be able to accept SNAP, to get a token economy or some sort of alternative currency economy and that kind of thing.
Marketing assistance,
yes.
like all those sorts of things.
And it was a huge win. I mean, it was wildly successful for a shockingly successful for a program that's like almost $1 million to help SNAP beneficiaries and to help farmers.
This is like one thing that I love to say about this. You know, Louisiana, we're always like at the bottom of the good list and the top of the bad ones. But in this case, we were in the first half of states to secure this kind of statewide funding. So like
we did it.
leaders, it's super exciting.
Yeah.
I just think of it as like an advocacy and like activation kind of point, like.
Yeah. And so we're hoping to use some of that momentum for like Farm Bill advocacy and child nutrition reauthorization, these federal things that, you know, whatever happens federally also will either has to start at the state or will come back down to the state and both. So, you know, Farm Bill and child nutrition reauthorization, a lot of the funding that the funding mechanism for these grants that they do for local food purchasing and for school food all come out of those mechanisms. So that's where it's really important for our federal advocacy to sort of start at a state and local level. And then our local advocacy work is the pop-up permitting and the Greener New Orleans. And so again, we have postcards, which we'll have a little bit of time for people to fill out. And we have yard signs. If you'd like a yard sign to put in front of your home, your business, your farm, your kid's school, I don't care where you put it, just get it out there.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to offer, if anyone has announcements, we have 13 minutes left for if anyone has anything they'd like to talk about, any job openings, any events, anything you need help on.
I need help on this stupid event that I'm. It's not stupid. It's gonna be great, except for it's tomorrow. It's
Oh.
Harvest Fest.
Oh, I saw that. I was gonna say there's a farmer's market at the French market tomorrow, right?
No, but the rain.
Full circle.
situation, Like that
Oh.
rain in like 4 months now, so it's like 4 months.
Oh, it is.
So I don't know. We're gonna have it if we can. I haven't canceled it.
Kind of assistance do you need?
People
Can
to
you
show
just
up.
make it not rain on us?
Oh, yeah, Haley can do a lot of things. She might be able to do
Thank
that.
you. I super appreciate it.
She's our fixer.
really want water for my garden.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
Megan.
It's been 11 more at the French market. It's, no,
Oh, it's not.
I'm like adjacent to the shed.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
There's a giant tent where the music is gonna be though, so you can shelter. Bring your kids out.
All right. Harvest Fest. Okay, Megan, you have something?
Yes, and I actually haven't updated you on this.
Oh.
I've been gifted 5 students interested in food advocacy work.
We'll take them all. Sorry. Yeah,
And they've been training for a year in social justice work. They're sponsored by Gilead. But yes, the plan, and this is all developed since I got the email this morning, actually, but what they would like is to introduce students to what's going on in the New Orleans food system and community. So if you're interested, and then in future semesters, they would actually work with your organization on advocacy work. And anyways, this is through Xavier University. I don't know. I'm a professor at Xavier, for those of you I don't know. So that I'm going to be, if you would like to speak with these students, tell them about what you're doing, with the potential for them to be working with your organizations. They were specially selected for their high academic achievement. So they're hardworking students and yeah, interested in social justice, food advocacy. So 5 students there. We also at Xavier have a 400-hour requirement for students in the public health program to get hands-on experience. So if you have, if you are wanting to take on students, and I mean, with 400 hours, there's an opportunity to, they're not just in and out, so there's an opportunity to train and really build a relationship there.
And our Xavier student we had last semester, maybe, amazing, like so good. If she hadn't gotten another job, I would have figured out how to hire her. She was so good.
So yes, and we have close to 200 students that need 400 hours. So
I won't take all of those, but I'll take a couple.
I don't have any business cards with me, but I'm happy to share my information and
Yep, we'll get it. We'll
okay,
pass it
yeah.
through the notes.
So yes, I mean, we have students looking, they're always asking me, do you know of any opportunities? Because they're looking for placements. And then so to the Gilead Scholar Social Justice Program with 5 students, and then 200 students.
And they're graduate
400
students,
hours.
right?
No, these are undergraduate students for the
practicum?
Gilead.
No,
Oh,
I'm
the
sorry, the
practicum, no,
practicum.
they're undergraduate.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Undergraduates,
Couldn't
yeah.
remember.
So
Okay.
they're needing it for graduation.
Okay.
So yes, but yes, and they're excited and interested, and this is all public health. The 200 needing 400 hours are all public health students. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? Announcements? Shout outs?
I included a link in the chat. It's our graphics request form. If you don't already follow us on Instagram, this is a humble ask. We're really trying to translate a lot of this policy jargon and trying to make plugging into this work more accessible. We plan on relaunching a new website by the end of the year. And you may have noticed we're revamping, like trying to get more active on social media and stuff. That's come from some in-house like changes and assignments over like what, me as communications manager now, it's a personal effort I'm undertaking to be the policy translator. So I dropped a graphics request form. If there's any information, the example that I can provide is on our Instagram for our Farm Bill breakdown. So we had a Farm Bill webinar and we were able to break that down to make policy slides. So if there's any partner event that you have a flyer for, or if there's any information, I know Eric mentioned the pop-up fees, something like that, you can go ahead and I'll include it in the notes whenever we send those out to this link. It'll be up on our website and all whenever we get that up. But if you have any graphic requests or information requests for visuals and graphics, just let us know. And if you see anything that you want like us to repost, you can send it to the FPAC DM. It's our staff that manages it, obviously, but we can just repost. You can just like send it right to the DM and I'll know that's a repost flag.
I love how she says our staff. It's her. Sometimes I accidentally sign into it and then I'm like, oh, FPAC doesn't need to post my kid. So, okay, well, anybody else, any job openings or anything you want this group to know about? Okay, well, we will send out notes and all the follow-up stuff. If you're in person, we would love for you to fill out a postcard. I'll go get that station ready for you. And I appreciate y'all. Our next full FPAC meeting will be in January. What? That feels ridiculous.
Yes, if you could use the postcards as a sign-in sheet, that would be lovely.
I'll get a piece of paper and do a quick sign-in sheet. I just got your text. All right. Oh, and we also have a quick survey that we would like for you to fill out. Shoot, I will put it in the chat in just a minute once I find it. And then I'll leave it open on my computer so that people who are here can fill it out, or we'll send it to everyone.
Add that it's evaluation to continue seeking funding for these sort of convenings, and it supports that, you know, what connections are you making, value of these meetings, so.
Yeah, trying to
important to
to
have that
evaluate a
feedback.
coalition is really tricky. So this is like one way that we're trying to do it is after every meeting. Did you learn something? Did you meet new people? That sort of thing. Great. All right. So I'll drop that real fast. And let's see. If you want to fill out a postcard, Haley, can you get that thing going? I have pens. I have like 100 pens in my purse, always. Okay. Yeah, hold on. I'll get them. Sorry, y'all, trying to do too much. All right, Megan, email. Are you guys seeing my screen? You
I
are?
just fixed you.
Thank you, dear God. Thank you. Bryn,
Um,
I can't appreciate you enough.
I was like, let me just.
Let me just tell Melissa, because you know how she don't like that. Okay, I just dropped the thing, and then if you all can fill it out on my computer, if you're here, that would be great.
Market Umbrella peeps, I've got you added to the newsletter too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, all.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So, yeah, we got a little party.
That's the big baby on for it. I'm a little baby now.
I'm in service right now.
This week, I'm like, I wish I had. As far as working on
Why isn't anything registered?
What?
I press it, it's nothing.
Uh-oh, okay. Okay, what have I done? Huh, try again. It just worked for me.
So we don't need to put our name on it.
Nope.
I mean, you have a wall.
Is it working?
Nope.
Really? Press harder. You trying to do it right there?
Okay.
Yeah, you just gotta really
Oh,
mash
we
it.
got a really nice.
Do you to go to city council? So to say like, they're asking for them to support the community. So, if
If you don't need it, so we're in trouble.
Yeah, real, I've got. Inside your own.
Yes. So, and then this is a stand for the front of it.
But you decide.
Is there a different way to scroll it?
They want to.
You'll use your face. Oh.
Uh-oh, hold on. What am I doing?
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's not hard to make it.
You know, I'm, let me do a quick,
Part of it, they're like, there's several different. outfits.
Actually, we
No,
I
I
thought
think
that
I
was
would
one
want for like a little flop meeting.
and I want to kind of shape our.
Yeah.
But
I got one. So if I were from that, yeah, that academic competencies. Yeah, and there is a list, I would send that to you. And I think
One more question, and so I need to scroll.
here's a glittery pen. Okay.
I have a HP.
Oh, yeah. So you just do it the opposite way of what you would do if you want to put a comment. If not, just submit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Council member. I'll change it to whomever's name. I just wanted to get something down so people can see.
You get a quick rundown.
Or you can take it with you and write it and we'll give you a stamp, whichever you prefer.
I did.
That's my thing. All you do is write.
And then so also.
Okay, we will find that out for you. Where? That's up to you. So it's probably. Yes, okay, so, just write, I will, G, I.
So wait, how does that work? So now you get a good grasp of like the GLC. So you got, Lisa, she's the G, pack. Yeah. Yeah, argue over here, she is with Sprout and a lot.
There's
Sprout is going to. I was on.
nice to meet you. Elaine, nice to meet you.
Yes. She's new to research farms. I'm just,
Awesome.
I was like, this is a good way to get to meet the whole. She didn't see people too. Yeah. So she does a lot of the gardens outside Top Box.
Oh,
Yeah, and I've been watching those replays. It's like kind of chaotic, and I kind of appreciate how chaotic it is. Like 8, like right on the thing, and I was like, man, these got kind of grown.
But they are strong.
Yeah.
They will not fall.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
lighter.
Yeah. I was thinking all of it.
Yeah, so.
Like they're light, like they're
I'll make sure to
lighter.
send something.
No, why?
That, just definitely a term for that somewhere, right? Yeah. Lightening up, drying out. I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
lighter and less dangerous, but also there's some
Yeah.
signs are like.
Yeah, there's not. There's not. Well, anything. Oh.
If not, it's a smart, yes, and we wouldn't have lupus the same way.
Yeah.
Sponge City, I did the early childhood education program. Everybody was, it was so great. Both groups were obsessed with the lupus that
I did
night
not.
in reception. I had to brought it's feeds, everybody's like.
Yeah, it's, we have some of the from people like that's what lupus. I'm like, yeah, it's not just a sponge. Like before it's a sponge, it's a plant.
Yeah, someone came to Bimonthly yesterday and was like, why are you on the lupus or why are you eating out like.
Yeah, I used to eat them growing up as a kid. My grandma used to just put them in stews.
I'm obsessed with the sponge part that I don't think of, but I'm a lot like I don't.
Yeah, I think it's also free sponge too. Yeah.
I live right across the street from a restaurant and I really don't. And the number of times that I like had conversation with people where they.
Like, you know, the sponge, they're like, that's not it.
Yeah, I did. But yeah,
Go pick them up on a beach.
I have one in my house in my garden. And it started going up my neighbor's tree, and I was like, and it was like you could see into the tree. It's one of those rain trees, and there's like 4 or 5 leaves just hanging off.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
My
I was like,
neighbor's fig tree is dangling.
Yeah.
I don't have a ladder. Like, actively don't know how to get it down.
I don't know how to get. I'm just gonna wait for the fall. Maybe the rain tomorrow will bring it down. I don't know.
If you get.
You have any extra postcards?
What?
If you have,
Yeah. Thank you. You have anything? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
At the top and then they fall on.
That was gonna help a little bit now. So my thing was just maybe I'll just kind of just get them wrong and just kind of throw it up there, just hope not hit anything else. No, yeah, I go by Top Box every Thursday. I'm just always taking like progressive pictures of them.
Nice meeting.
There's like I was there today. I saw like 5 just right above the Top Box door. Like the store, there's just like 5 plus.
Waiting to lighten up.
I don't even know what it looks like on the other side on the top of the park.
Oh, no.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's funny.
And then we have another plant on the other side by the other guy.
Oh,
My backyard is also psychotic.
yeah, yeah.
My dear. Yes.
Oh, good. Yes, please grab a yard sign.
Sarah,
I appreciate that you're.
Don't forget to fill out the thing.
Did you see like
Oh, the email? Oh. Oh, no, I do emails at wild hours. It's fine. It's not just you. Yeah.
Just this is. November 11th.
Well,
From that. And I will finish it then.
Going to, no, not from going through. Have you heard from?
Train tree. Yeah, people hate them. I love it.
I love it.
I always see them
Um,
and I've never.
and then I have not put into one for.
They're like semi-considered an
That was on
invasive.
our next trio meeting of being like, we need to do a better job of.
And they never stop.
The other one, I haven't started, but I haven't-
It's non,
whenever
like I
one
have one in my
says,
yard and it's
"I'll
like
handle this,"
year round
about doing
constantly,
farmers
like
supplies.
every, like,
Yeah, true.
I
it's-
don't remember which one that
It
was,
is
but
true.
I.
That would be.
But I don't.
they are pretty.
Million keys in this
And then
city.
which one, oh, that's the one you filled out.
And so many of them do.
Okay.
And then, and that was.
Yeah.
the one
I'm
that
like,
was
okay,
supposed
fine,
to
you
be
should
like
like right here,
on like a
the
week
yellow,
around.
the
They're like,
bright
"Yeah,
yellow,
we
and
can
then it
show
turns
them
bright
now,
pink.
so it's waiting."
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no,
No,
worries.
tallow does that.
And then
Yeah.
Japanese or Chinese tallow.
gonna apply
So you're gonna pick the
sprout
lead, that's
for
what
the.
The one that I.
Perfect.
And I feel all over town, so a lot of times, I'm like,
Yes,
Yeah.
Which was
One
like.
time I accidentally said, you know, like,
was because we either
studied
applied
our
for the
board
GFA
culture
or
and all part of
the
it, so one time I
GFA,
actually
we
said
applied
trash in a
for-
community meeting in front of everyone.
I don't know.
And people
I
were
don't
like,
know how
"Oh,
they.
trees
did
are
their
trash."
research.
It's like,
I was like,
I said, but not wrong. There are trash trees, like,
what I.
yeah.
But,
I'm sorry, you're right. All of God's trees.
But
are
I think
perfect.
because me and Margie had met with
they're
someone
just
from
little-
Rocky
Oh,
to
right.
do like
Yeah,
informal conversation,
Gotcha, okay.
which was.
My,
the-
Bye, Angelina. Do you still need stuff in the cooler? Don't forget about it.
Anyways, but.
that's
like
like,
tomorrow.
I guess. You wanna go into
I
the
don't have
office?
to know. We'll make a decision.
All right, we're gonna send out this post-meeting survey.